Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back. We're not for everyone, and we're an existential commentary podcast hosted by one hater and one lover. And that's Jess over there. She's a lover and she's giggling, and I missed her this whole week when I was away. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I'm supposed to be the tan one, and yet I feel so pale compared to your California goldenness right now.
I don't think I'm very tan. It was actually pretty cold. It was colder than it was in DC, which I like let the Californians know a lot. I was
Yeah,
like, you guys like did not deliver. Which I wasn't disappointed, but like I didn't do very much tanning because it was pretty chilly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. I'll take it. And then I just look pale right now. I don't know. It's still 30 degrees in Chicago, so I'm
Wait.
gonna
I'm
announce
sorry.
that every week until it changes. Everybody knows that I live in Chicago and it's cold
Everybody
here.
knows that I live in Chicago. Yeah, I did not mean to gaslight your feeling of being really low on melanin. I
You
agree.
did.
I
You know that
validate.
I'm
I
supposed to be.
validate.
You've seen me at my deepest skin tone, and this is nowhere close to it. So yeah, thank you for returning to that. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
returning to my feelings. How the hell was your time away? Tell us everything. Tell us the reflections. Tell us the intimate moments. Tell us the moments that were like maybe a little sad.
A little sad. I have both. I can
Yeah.
deliver both. I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm gonna try to keep it. I feel like there's like almost nothing worse than listening to someone talking about their trip. So I'm gonna try to keep it
Sure.
to maybe things that are valuable. How dumb does my hair continue to look? I cut my
Stop.
bangs. I
Wait,
can't.
I was like admiring how cute they look short. You
No,
look like one of
no.
those like artsy.
From
You
Brooklyn.
just
I
look
look like I'm in
artsy.
Brooklyn.
Yes,
Yeah,
you look
I
like
look
you're
like
in
I'm in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Which
Especially if I like really floof them out anyway.
yeah,
Whatever.
I'm wearing Brooklyn glasses, so
Yeah,
hey, we're on YouTube, by the way. Should we say if you want to see what we're talking about, reminder that we now have YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Caroline has short bangs and I have big glasses, and
God,
that's
they're
now you're caught
literally
up.
so stupid. I've cut my bangs before, which like I don't feel that I'm good at it, but going into the salon, I swear to God, it's like a 50-50 chance that they give me a good bang cut. And I'm like, 50-50 chance, like I can do that. Like 50
Right.
50 chance of having a good cut or a bad cut, I can do that and I can do it for free. And bangs grow, you have to get them trimmed like, like every 3 weeks is the shorter your hair is, the more whatever. So like I'm not doing it. I'm just cutting it home. Not because I think I'm good, but because I have like a 50-50 chance. And
Either way. Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm fine with the odds. And this recent time was one of the negative times. I don't know what happened, but I was just like, oh, my bangs are too long. I need to like go cut them. Picked up a pair of scissors. And I swear between picking up the scissors and then setting them back down, I like blacked out. And I just like forgot everything I knew about cutting hair. I just like I didn't pause. I just went like way short. I think I pulled them out, went way short. And obviously, when you let go of your hair, it like
Yeah.
gets shorter, it like bounces up, or like I pulled it
Totally.
straight. It was like I'd never used scissors or hair before. And then I like
Never
let
used
go of my
hair.
bangs. They were so short. I don't even know, but it was
I
a
think
weird
it looks
experience.
good, but I also think it's funny that you just said it's like I forgot everything I knew about cutting hair, as though you're like a hairstylist professionally. Like, I don't know. The amount that you know about cutting hair, I guess, is just collected from cutting your own hair over the years.
I
But
mean, the amount that I know, again, is knowing that I at least need to pause and think about it for a second to
sure,
even have a 50-50 chance of maybe getting it okay.
sure. Yeah.
That's all I know. And I didn't do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I
We
mean,
can move.
I'm currently dealing with a hair, not crisis, but I'm just a little bit annoyed by the way that my stylist styled my hair today. I like the color, I like the cut. I know I'm gonna like it when I style it myself, but it's kind of pissing me off today. And
Yeah.
so
It
we're in
looks
it
very
together.
cute. It looks cute,
Thanks.
but you've voluminized better.
I'm gonna add some texturizing spray later. Okay, this isn't interesting. So tell us, make it short, make it valuable. Tell us your takeaways from your trip.
Okay. I will say it was A plus, which how rare is that? I feel like anytime I think something's going to be really, or I need something to be really great, it's usually not. And I think anytime I dread something, it usually ends up being wonderful. It's like
Mm,
I get very psyched out, but I don't know. I just feel like it's always the opposite. And I felt like this trip was going to be great, and it was great, and that'll never happen again.
Yeah.
Um, I spent like a few days in LA with a friend of mine, and I don't really like to visit even my best friends because it's really like I need so much time away. I need so much downtime. And actually, I think most people do, but especially when you're hosting, like when I'm hosting, it's hard for me to say, like, you go away now. We're both going to benefit from this, but you go away now or I go away now. And I don't
Yeah.
know. It's uncomfortable, of course. And I kind of dread that, like not having the downtime. So with her, literally before I went, I feel like I aced it. Before I went, I was like, I need downtime. I'm gonna take downtime. It's gonna make me a better person, and then you're not gonna hate me.
Yeah.
And she felt the same way. And I think actually most people feel the same way, but it was really helpful, I think, to say it
Mm.
before you're in it and like everything's already tense and you're both like pissed at each other. And so we just did that. And she was like, okay, I need that too, but I'm not going to ask for the time. You ask for it and then we'll do it.
Okay.
And
That's
yeah,
good. Clear expectations, you know.
yeah, I feel like we were just like, I think we just like aced the communication, the pre-trip visit communication.
Right.
Everything's so
Top
high
notch.
anxiety, top notch.
No, I
And
totally relate to
you know
what
what I
you're
mean?
saying though. Yeah. I went to LA I guess at this point like almost 2 years ago when I quit my job, and I stayed with a friend for a week, and we had not done that pre-trip communication, and it's a close friend of mine. But like staying with her for a whole week, we're both used to living alone.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just like
there's nobody I want to see for there's no one I want to look at for more than
not at
90
all.
minutes.
Not at
90 minutes,
all.
we're done. Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to make that time to like, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. No, I don't want you to come. But like if you say it before, then you don't have to say no, I don't want you to come. You can just be like, I'm going for a walk, and they'll pick up the cue that
Yeah.
that's just your thing. So, yeah,
And
I love
as
that.
a host, yeah, I think it was the first time I thought to do it because I have so much anxiety around it. But like, I also think that as a host, I really get stressed out hosting if the guest's expectation is that I have to put my life on hold basically for the time that they're
Yeah.
there. Like even 2 days, even one day of me like not working when I probably need to be working, or 3 days where I'm no longer going to the gym. I'm not like eating the regular things I want to eat. I'm not getting downtime. I'm not working. That's extremely stressful. And then the whole time you become less and less present because you're just thinking about, okay, once they leave, I got to catch up on all these things. And it makes it harder for me to be present. So even like for her kind of hosting me, I was like, do your work, like go
Yep.
do your workout, whatever you need to do, it'll make our time together. And then when we had our time together, we're just gabbing nonstop because we'd both recharge. Anyway, I'm giving
Yeah.
myself an A+.
I am too. I'm so proud of you.
I
I'm so
need,
proud of my little girl's report card.
there's there's nothing sweeter than you being proud of me.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh,
very
I feel
important.
proud
It's
of you
very
all the time.
important. It's very important to me. It's
I
very
love to
important.
make you feel that joy of me being proud of you. I'm not even faking it though. It's the truth. And A plus. Good.
Thank
Spank
you.
you on the little butt.
Spank you on the
I'm
tush.
happy. Yeah.
Send me out the door.
Yeah.
So I did like 3 days with her, which is a great amount of time, in my opinion. And then I went like an hour south to Palos Verdes to this resort. I asked for resort recommendations on Instagram because
Yeah.
I was really struggling to pick a resort, and found this beautiful one in like the cliffs of, I think, the most southern part of California. Is that the
Mm,
most southern? I don't know. Don't make me
that
look at a map.
tracks.
Yeah, I won't do it. And it was just beautiful terrain, like luxury indulgence, whatever. That's my idea of like a break. I don't want to sightsee. I don't
Totally.
want to like, I even debated for a while, they had like paddleboarding and kayaking and all these activities. And I was like, should I do it? Am I supposed to do it? I don't want to do them all. Like I got really intentional about my goals, which is something my dad, I remember him saying to me really young when we'd go on vacations, he'd be like, set your goals for the week or the time can pass you by.
Oh, that's great. I
Yeah.
love
And
that from
it's
him.
so true. And
Yeah.
I do it like almost every day. Just like, what do I want this day to look like
Right.
in
What do
order
I
for
want
me
to
to like
feel
go
today?
to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not complicated things, but for the trip, I was like, I want to be off my phone. I want to be really off my phone. I'd leave it in the hotel room. I'd just power it down. I'm doing that a lot, just like turning it off, especially if I keep like subconsciously picking it up while watching TV
Mm.
or while at a dinner, or like there's already another screen there. Like I don't need to be picking up my phone. Um, and did a lot of reading, a lot of writing. A lot of it ended up being work related, but the part of like YouTube and podcast, like vision dreaming and orienting towards the larger why we're doing what we're doing and what I want things to look like. The things I care about, like just going on walks, and did workout classes, and I would exercise and eating. I feel like I indulged a lot, but I just ate like nothing processed. So I was still just
Mm.
feeling good.
Yeah.
And honestly, the biggest thing I was curious about, I can spend endless time alone. So I wasn't concerned about like, am I going to get bored? The biggest thing I was curious about was going on a trip and not having to take care of someone else's emotional state,
Yep.
because I think both in relationships I've been in, like romantic relationships, and the dynamics that I grew up with, there are very like, there are personalities that were like always kind of unhappy. I feel like I'm very used to being with someone who's always very unhappy
Mm.
and really catering to, like, walking on eggshells to make sure that they're okay and everything's how they want and that nothing goes wrong. And it was, and I really wanted to show up and be like, I had this feel, I don't know, I'm like actually a pretty optimistic person, despite the title of hater.
Yeah.
um Pretty much nothing gets me down unless somebody like implies that I'm a bad person. That's the thing that can get me down. But other than that, like an event or a disappointment or a cancellation or a failure, like really nothing really gets me down. And I kind of wanted to show up on this trip and be like, could anything get me down this week? Like, could things will go wrong? Like, I'll think there will be disappointments, but I'm pretty sure it just doesn't ruin my mood. And I felt like that was so true. Like, nothing upset me when things were slow or bad or wrong or confused or difficult. Like, it's just like, okay, so you adjust the plan. And honestly, that was something I like really needed to prove to myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, does that make sense?
It 100% makes sense. I think that's such the power of solo travel because you don't have to cater to anybody, even something as simple as like walking and how much you want to walk in the day. I did a
Totally.
solo trip to Portugal for like 4 days to Porto a couple years ago, and I was like I had just come off of a family trip. Like I joined them on a trip for a little bit and then went off on my own to Portugal, and the juxtaposition was so
Wow.
extreme to me because not that I didn't have a good time with them, but it's just like you're always aware like, "Oh, are we walking too much for dad's comfort level?" Or, "Oh, does somebody need to go eat right now?" Or whatever, as opposed to when I was alone, I walked for like 12 miles around the city by myself, stopped and did whatever I wanted to do, went back to my room whenever I wanted to. It's just like the
It's just
freedom of
different. So
just
different.
feeling actually getting in touch with like what you want and what feels good to you in the moment and being like, "Oh, and I can do that. Not only do I know what I want, which is already kind of hard to get in tune with, but then I can actually execute on it." Like those two things are huge about solo travel. I think like living
Yeah.
alone is another way to experience that, but of course in your day-to-day life you're going to have to cater to people all the
Yeah.
time. So it's not as protected.
And also that makes me think, I feel like that's such a good point. Um, when you compare it to like, it is like a level up from getting to know yourself living alone. I think by the same, um, for the same reason that people say like it's a you should like really travel with a romantic partner before you settle down with them, because it's very telling. Because despite it being a vacation, like stressors come up, and you get to
Totally.
see people deal with stressors outside of their comfort zone, and you get to see people just like deal when not everything is structured the way they want it to be. You're literally outside of your comfort zone. And so I do think it's like that is such a revealing way to get insight into really any relationship. And so, like, by the same measure, to get an insight into yourself, like out of your
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone, having to navigate a place you don't know, needing to ask for help, like hoping something will be one way and then it's very much not. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a lesson in expectations because even what you said at the beginning of your story about this of like I always know that when I'm hoping for something to be amazing, it sucks, and when I expect something to suck, it turns out to be wonderful. Like having too big of expectations on anything is such a risk in life. Like if you're expecting something to go a certain way and feel a certain way, it's almost never going to be exactly how you expected. And so even if it was still good, you can't like enjoy that it was good because it wasn't the good that you envisioned beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true of like trips, it's true of events and holidays and like little things in life too, a date that you have planned. But if you let go of the expectations and just like show up and then plus you show up by yourself, it's even better because you're like, okay, I can roll with that. Like I think it's cool that you learned about yourself that you're actually, and maybe you knew this before, but like prove to yourself, I guess is what you said, that you're
Yeah.
pretty like go with the flow and like don't get down about too many things, even when traveling, even when outside
Yeah.
of your comfort zone. Cause probably a lot of people are. It's just when we put other people
Oh my
around us
gosh.
that
Yeah.
we're stressed about like, oh, it needs to go the way I envisioned. And because I want them to be happy, I want them to be comfortable. It's always about like making sure other people are okay. That's at least how I feel a lot of the
Totally.
times. I'm always conscious of like, is everyone else good? Okay, then I'm good. Which isn't always true.
Yes. Yeah, I know, because you're a good caretaker, and I definitely relate to that. Like middle child, you're the eldest daughter, which I feel like sometimes I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with birth order, but I always felt like the mediator in my family, like the peacemaker, like the person who like has to communicates between everyone or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's like a great skill and it's a great thing to be able to do for people. And it's really exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
And, we'll get to do it. We'll get to do it lots more for lots of other good opportunities, but it's nice to take that solo time. I also feel like it's one thing to be like looking out for a bunch of other personalities. Um, but when some of those personalities are like the really unhappy kind, just like, I mean, it's one thing, it's
Yeah,
like we're looking out for both our dads are like getting a little older or whatever, and like of
sure.
course we want to look out for them. But when it's someone who's like really unhappy, my experience is they're often like blamers too, they're blaming. And so I've always experienced a lot of like implied like blame on me, like things were my fault. And after like 25 or like 30 years, I was like, I feel like not all these things are my fault,
Mm.
but I couldn't prove it. And I heard something once, if you're someone who's like experienced that in any kind of relationship, I saw it was literally like an Instagram meme, but it hit so hard where it was like, a blamer will spend all this time saying that you're the drama, you're the drama, you're the drama. But then as soon as they disappear, everything's really peaceful. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's kind of how I felt going on the trip. I was like, is it really hard to take trips? I don't know. All of a sudden, it seems pretty easy.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I actually very much relate to that because whether the thing that I can't figure out in my own context is whether those people were actually blaming me or if I just internalized it as blame. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
I
when
know which
something
one it was for me. They were pretty
Yeah.
overt. Yeah.
Okay, for me it's more
But
like
yes, it could be
a
both. Yes.
suggestion of blame
Yes.
or like
Totally.
me inferring that the blame is on me as opposed
Yeah.
to them actually overtly saying that. And that's a thing that
Yes.
I don't know, like I relate, but more from that angle where I just put a lot of the pressure on myself to make
Yeah.
sure that like group dynamics go well. And as much as like I'm often the person in friend groups or with even with my family who like chooses the restaurant we're going to go to because I love finding new restaurants and
Mm-hmm.
discovering new food and whatever. But if somebody doesn't like it, even if they didn't say, Jess, like bad choice, like pretty much no one in my life would say that overtly. But if they didn't like it, I'll still like
Mm-hmm.
internalize it as my fault. And then I feel more pressure to like do it better the next time, or I like completely check out of it next time. And I'm like, okay, I'm not responsible for anything because I don't want to
Yeah.
be like the deciding factor in whether people have a good time or not. You know, I'm just here for the ride. I am a good time, and so I'm just here for the ride. Like that's
Yeah,
kind of a transition I'm making in life. But
that's a
I
big
hear what you're
one.
saying too. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your week? How first of all, just asked me. She did like the solo episode last week, which I loved and was to me like such a labor of love to be able to give me a week pretty checked out, and I'm excited to repay that 1 week. But she like set, did the recording, and she was like, "Do you want to listen to it?" Obviously, we like edit everything collaboratively kind of, and I was like, no, I don't, because I know whatever you make is great. And I was really excited to listen, to get to devour it and experience it as just an audience member. So I listened to it like at the pool, and I was just like cackling. I was cackling to myself and giggling and like squealing, I feel like.
Makes me really happy. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it. It was like I had a lot of fun doing it. It came very naturally because that's what I did so often with peaking. So I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I'm back doing this." Like, okay, sweet. And obviously it was a shorter episode and it's just me, so the editing lift and everything is easier.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was like kind of a break. In a way, I also got a break because it was like a lighter lift type of episode than our usuals. And I got the opportunity to like explore another, way of expression on this platform. Um, so I enjoyed it. I'm like really excited. I kept thinking to myself, like, will her approach be when she does a solo episode, or like how will it be
Oh
similar?
yeah.
How will it be different? Because I feel like since I've done kind of versions of that before on peaking, I like knew where I would probably fall in terms of
Yeah.
like the types of topics and the types of vibe. But I feel like for you, although you
Oh,
have your
dude.
YouTube channel, obviously, and
It's
it's
different.
you, it is
It is
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. But it was like such a gift to be able to help take something off your plate for the week, but also to be able to like do that for myself and express myself in a different way. So
A
I
gift to you, a
liked
gift
it.
to me. Yeah, gifts on
Gifts all
gifts.
around. Yeah. So it was great. But I did save up some thoughts. Not Jess thoughts, but not for Jess thoughts. Jess thoughts that I want Caroline's thoughts on, because
Yeah.
just like I don't know, there were things that I was like, this will be funnier to talk to her about, or this will be more
Oh,
interesting to talk to her
I'm
about.
so ready to volatilely react. Yes, give it to
Okay.
me.
Well, there's just a lot, and honestly, I don't know which one's the best. Let me take a
which ones
pause. Oh,
which of my thoughts are the best?
I rank my thoughts. Isn't that like kind of a twisted thing that you have to do for
Well,
podcasting
I
and like
mean, no, but it's of
entertainment?
course like if you're creating something, it's technically just thoughts you have, and then you're like, these thoughts are good thoughts. I'm gonna make people listen to these thoughts and look at these thoughts. So yeah,
Right.
like all of it. That's something that bothers me a little bit about all of content creation is you're being like, I think this is good. Look at it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like a little weird.
It is pretty weird. It is pretty weird. That being said, okay, you might have a take on this one. So I'll give context as I always do. Always too much context when it comes to me. So
Perfect amount of context.
um okay, I watch The Bachelor. I watch a lot of reality dating shows, but I watched The Bachelor. This season was particularly bad. It just ended. And I was consuming some podcasts, like interviewing the people afterwards.
Mhm.
And one of them they said several things that like really just annoyed me and I wanted to bring to the pod. But one thing that came out of that was they were like, "Oh, it's so hard to be like in hiding after the show because you don't get to see how the person is in the world," which like that's fair. We just talked about like traveling with someone, you get to see how they are in the world. But the thing they kept referencing was you don't get to see how they treat waiters. And it made me think about how so many people list that as
Yeah.
their number one red flag, like being rude to waiters. And to me, I'm like, that's not even a notable red flag to say out loud, because like obvious, like to me it's so obvious. It's like that's a rude person. And so yeah, like interesting red flags, like you hating v-neck t-shirts, like that's something we can have a funny conversation about. But like being rude to waiters, everybody talks about it. It's kind of similar to like the pineapple on pizza thing. It's like, okay,
So
yeah,
funny.
obviously
being rude to waiters. Yeah, I also think it's a red flag when someone I'm on a date with like kicks a dog. Yeah, like
right.
also that.
Yes.
Like also
I'm like, are you any
also,
closer to finding your person now that you said that out loud? Like, is that help? Did that work?
but
Okay,
I
you're
also
clearer
feel like
now.
yeah, you're clear. Okay, we're getting clarity. But also, I don't think like uh I don't think the reverse necessarily means that much. Like if they're really nice to waiters, I know lots of people who are nice to waiters and like they suck as
They're still the
people.
worst people.
Yeah, they're still the worst people. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's we can move on
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's
from
all I
that
had
as
to
a
say.
test. Oh no, not from the conversation. From that as a test. I agree. I
Oh,
agree. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
think what you're pinpointing, in my opinion, is the fact that like a lot of it's the gesture thing. Like a lot of people
Yeah, it is
um
again.
equate niceties with like character. But that like one is gestures, one is more kind of personality, and one
Hmm.
is character, which is something I think about a lot because especially like with my ex, I feel like we had a huge personality, like the ultimate personality match. Um and not that he had bad character, but there were like spiritual, like deeper things that we were
Yeah.
mismatched on. So I feel like it's really hard to distinguish. And the first thing you usually fall in love with is someone's personality, but that says very little about their character. And yeah, I don't know. You could be you could just like have grown up in a country club, and so you know how to like what it
Right.
says about you and your status to speak to the staff a certain way, but that doesn't mean that you're like a good person.
Yeah. Totally. It also just made me wonder, like, maybe I've been lucky to not ever go out on a date with someone who was rude to the staff. But is that like such a common thing? I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like
you're
we all
so right.
know
Like,
the
doesn't everyone
operating
know?
procedures in this world. Like, I think, yes, there are people who are rude to wait staff. I know that you used to work serving tables and as a bartender and stuff. So, like, I'm not diminishing the fact that people who work in those jobs have a really hard job and deal with a lot of annoying people and annoying shit all the time. But at the same time, like, I don't know, the person that I'm probably likely to end up on a date with is not the person who's going to be rude to the waiter. Maybe, I don't know. I just think that's uncommon unless you're really digging at the bottom of the barrel. But maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Have you encountered that? Like, it's so
Oh,
commonly
people being
said
terrible. First of all,
on a
there are
date
people.
when
Oh, on
you're
a
seated
date.
with them. Like,
Um,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Not
I
from the
don't
waiter
think
perspective.
there are things that I would still note about their interactions that wouldn't be like rudeness, though. I'm trying to
Okay.
think. Um, I don't know. I don't think I have a good example, but I
Like
mean,
tip, like
yeah,
how
you
somebody
take
tips. I pay attention to that if I can see if
I
I can see the
I
bill.
do, but in my experience, because I when someone leaves a lower tip, I almost always ask them about it. And
Mm,
usually they just don't know what the standard is. Usually they're like referencing a stat they heard from the 80s when you tipped a different amount. It's not
true.
usually, it's mostly like an as a waiter. Oh my God, I would hunt people down all the time. If somebody got left a low tip anywhere in the restaurant, like an insultingly, inappropriately low tip, I would be like, I'll hunt him down. And I would like run down the streets on the Lower East
I
Side chasing
love
after somebody
you.
and being like, what happened? Because you've got nothing to lose. That's
Yeah.
like what I lived for. I'd be like, what went down? And they would just be like, most of the time, most people were like, what do you mean? I left a wait, I did was that not the correct tip? Like most people,
Yeah.
sometimes people do it vindictively, but like even things like that, or honestly, even if someone is rude to a waiter, I know some people who just like are shitty and I've seen them be rude to wait staff, but usually it's like you just caught them on a bad day. So all of these things, eh,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a waiter, I feel like aren't even that significant. Sucks for the
Yeah.
waiter, but
Yeah. Okay, that helps. I don't know. It's just one of those statements that I hear so often and I
yeah,
always have this thought process and I was like I need to like articulate it.
I agree.
Does it make I'm the nicest to waiters by the way and I tip so
I
much. Like
believe. I believe.
like I am the extreme side of like being very kind and respectful in those
Right.
situations and still this is never something that I would describe as like a criterion for a person because I'm just like that's baseline. We're talking
Totally,
baseline.
totally that baseline
Oh,
bitch.
like give me something interesting to work
Yeah,
with. So,
no, I
yeah.
completely agree. If people need help, it sounds like some people need help figuring out what to judge. And if that's the case, like just listen to the podcast. I
Please
will let
pass
you
them
know.
to us. Yeah, I happily. I can give you so many better things to judge them against. That's such a good a good tip.
If you are having trouble figuring out what's egregious behavior, just every Thursday. Every Thursday, new episodes.
Okay, I just want to close the loop on the couple other things that happened in this interview of the Bachelor and his new bride, fiance, whatever the fuck. Okay, this one's quick. No, actually, I'll go in chronological order in a way. Okay. This is just a statement. I'm just making a statement. I hate when people say the phrase, do life together. I hate it. Stop. You sound stupid. You're annoying me. Find a better way to describe what you're excited about for your future with this person, or don't say it at all. Doing life together is the most annoying phrase to me.
Why does it annoy you?
I saved my hatred rage for when you were back, as opposed to doing it in the lover episode.
Why does it annoy you?
Why does it annoy me?
So it's just
like I don't know. Do you always? Here's a question. This is like,
listen, I can tell you what I think is annoying about it, but I'm trying not to speak over you.
I appreciate. This is a quick sidebar to get some advice from the hater. Like, do you always know why you hate something? Because maybe as someone
it takes reflection.
It
takes reflection.
I'm not good at that part yet. I'll work on it, but I don't know. It just pisses me off. It just annoys me. Tell me why it annoys you. Yeah. You're probably right.
First of all, I feel like the reflecting and trying to figure out why is the most fun part. And I think it's constructive. It's as important as figuring out why you like something. It's like that hopefully can inform other things I can make fun of with The Bachelor. But
at
the very least, I think because it's so non-specific, it sounds like they actually haven't thought about what they're gonna do with this person. And also do life. Like those are that's not a way that we use verbs. Yeah. And so like what is an equally stupid thing? It would sound as stupid if they were like, I'm so excited to do sex together the rest of our lives. Like you don't say do sex, do kisses, to do grocery together. Like
especially in an interview with another person. Like keep that for the bedroom.
You guys, your entire relationship is you exporting the romantic status between you two, and you're gonna go do an interview about it, and you don't have like one thought over the other than like, well, it's gonna be life and we're gonna do it.
Well, that's probably what it is, because I listened to several interviews because I was trying to get some fucking juice. I was like, Caroline's gone for the week. I need some ammo. I need some tea to amp me up because I don't have my girl. And so I was like listening to a bunch of the interviews, and they said the same thing in every single interview. They were like, we're excited to do life together. Just go to coffee shops and restaurants. I listened to 3 different interviews and they said that 3 different times. And I understand what they're saying. Like, there's nothing wrong with the fact that they're excited about that. It's just like, can you give me something? You're supposed to, you were just on TV.
You guys have met each other. Prove to me that you guys have met each other.
Yeah, you just had 12 episodes of television about your love story. And now that's all you have to tell me? Like, I'm over it. So
I'm over it.
But I also think the do life thing, it's not just used on The Bachelor, although it's very commonly used there. But people will, I don't know. I feel like really basic people will say that in general. And I just have never liked it. It's never resonated.
Right. This is the thing. My sister has gone on some great rants about like, when there's like kind of fad phrases that are like in the zeitgeist and everyone's using like a fad phrase. We've decided this terminology is like terminology we're all using now. It's kind of like picking up a Hallmark card where it's like my sister will just be like, don't you have any thoughts of your own? Don't you have any feelings of your own? Like, it's like, if you need to give this person a Hallmark card to express how you feel, are you not like feeling on your own? You can come up with it. So I feel like to use, maybe that sounds so harsh, but whatever. There's some truth to it. But sometimes the fad phrases are very articulate, and that's when I get kind of pissed. Like I hated the phrase like vibing for so long.
But you like when I say it. You told me.
Yes, I do. And I say it now too, because I realize they're really like against my will. I was made to realize there really isn't a better alternative.
Yeah.
It's not this. I think the closest other option is like somebody's energy, or like the energy was good, or like, which you can, but it's different. There's not a great alternative. There are a lot better alternatives to describing what you're excited about in marrying somebody.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You just crushed it. Like, I feel like there's a lot of those words that I started to use ironically.
Yes,
like,
same. And then
right? And now I use them.
And that's just in your vocab. Yes, like trill.
Yeah.
I started saying trill. I don't even think that's a word people say, but like I say it genuinely now.
Yeah,
and
you do say
vibing.
it.
Yeah.
Vibing is one. Lit, I feel like that was a joke, and I'm still kind of joking when I
know
it.
And I know that you are, but it's like that's also a thing. And I guess most people are kind of joking. Most people maybe are.
Yeah. It's like I'm putting on a character in a way. I'm like, while I'm saying this sentence that has the word lit in it, like imagine me as a really broy white man who goes to a lot of festivals, you know, and that's and like that's the character I'm playing when I say lit, but that doesn't mean I don't say it. It just means
character for that word.
It's character work.
That's a character work.
Everything I do is character work. Okay, the last quick thing. This is actually quick. I mean, but you can turn anything into a hot topic. So maybe
try me.
So finally, in the same podcast interview with this fucking Zach Shallcross,
went hard.
His name,
what a fucking gold mine this interview was.
I know. It was so boring that I had to turn it into something interesting. I was like, okay, I'm just going to project everything that I hate about these people onto this interview to make it interesting.
Yeah, that's what art is.
Yeah. So Zach Shallcross is the name of the Bachelor. I just thought that was notable. He's totally an AI Bachelor. Everything that he's ever said is like, sometimes he trips up his words and you're like, oh, that was like a glitch in the system. Like he's an AI, even down to his name. I gotta Google him.
How the fuck do you say Shaq Falcross?
Zach. Oh. That part's normal-ish.
His name's not Shaq.
Falcross, like
Val,
like some
or foul.
Shall, S-H-A-L-L, cross, like you shall cross the street. It's like weird and religious sounding.
Oh, his face is fake too.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Everything's fake. And he said in this podcast interview really quickly, he was like, oh, can I cuss? And it made me pause. And I was like, cuss? Like, I haven't said the word cuss as opposed to curse in so long. I feel like in high school would be like, oh, that's yeah, funny. Like I need to stop cussing. Like that's what I'm gonna give up for Lent. But I haven't said cuss.
Give up for Lent. I forgot we used to give up cursing for Lent.
But don't you only say cursing now? Like I haven't said cuss in a really long time. And this is like a 30-year-old man who just got engaged and is ready to do life. And he's saying cuss.
He's ready to do life. Yeah, that's great. No notes.
Okay, thanks. So what's going on with you? What's going on with me? Those are my topics.
Oh, let me see what I got. First of all, let me tell you fucking what, dog. I want to follow up on, I talked about that guy from the gym who like he just
Sweetie
aced
Pie.
It.
Yeah.
I don't think we call him Sweetie Pie.
That's what I call him.
Sweetie Pie is definitely the name of one of the My Little Ponies.
Ooh.
I think one is Sweetie Pie.
Okay, Sweetie Pie, Cutie Patootie, etc.
Sweetie Pie, I'm gonna call him My Little Pony from the gym. Who hit on me the only acceptable way a man can, which was to, I don't know, he came up and complimented me. Yes, I'll allow it, and then immediately walked away. And I was like kind of like mentally hustling after him, not physically hustling, but I was like, what do I do anyway? Yeah. He knew what he was doing. And I hadn't really seen him. First of all, I also don't really remember what he looks like, because I know he was cute. He was a brunette white dude that was strong in the gym. Like there's a million of them.
Right.
And he walked away so fast. I only got a flash of it. Like I couldn't tell you who he was. And so I don't know if I've seen him in the gym. I wasn't sure. I like kind of looking around, but also don't want to like stare everyone down in the gym. And then the other day I saw him again, which I know because he just came up to me. He like peeked around from like a corner and just like leaned in and just like did this like little twinkly wave. I had my headphones in, so I don't even think he said anything. He just like did a twinkly wave and then walked away again. Just walked away.
Sweetie Pie.
Sweetie Pie. much because I'd already been stressing. This was like maybe 3 weeks later from the initial encounter. And because I didn't think I'd seen him, or I definitely hadn't talked to him, or like I didn't like chase him down in the gym, I was like, oh, this guy must hate me now because I didn't follow up and he must think I'm a bitch and blah, 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 blah. And like, I'm the worst. And he like at least didn't seem to care.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'll still say hi to you. I'll still smile. I'll still wave at you. And then again, just like walk the fuck away. And now I have to say something. The thing is, I don't.
It's
What
time.
do you say? What do you say?
It's time.
What do you say? What do you say?
Okay.
Also, I don't even know if I want to. Like, I can't remember what he looks like. We've not really had a conversation.
From this wave, you don't remember a little better what he looks like? Like, was your reaction to the wave, oh, he's cute, you know? Was that how?
I mean,
how
he was cute. He was cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he was cute.
Okay, so now you know what he looks like and you know that you like it.
Cute.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. I like it.
Okay. Let's see. What do you say?
Wow. Thank you for helping me figure out if I was attracted to him or not.
Yeah, we had to get that out of the way. I was like, because I would really like to workshop right now what you're going to say to him, but I needed you to be on board with that. And so now I think you're on board with that. You're going to say something.
I'm on board with the cute, but I'm like, I'm so attracted to personality that I'm like,
right.
What if I ask him out to like get a drink or something. And then, which I almost feel weird about because it's like, to ask someone out just because they showed interest in you, something feels vapid about that too. But like, it's not just that he complimented me. Like, I liked his whole vibe.
Okay, what are you doing on a dating app? They show interest in you, they swipe right, and then you go on a date. Like, that's all it ever is. You know? And then you go on the date and then you find out if the personality vibe is there. And if it's not there, like, that's fine. You went on a date with someone who was friendly and attractive, which like is the only precursor for going on a date pretty much ever.
True. Wow.
So I would say, and he's already like given the in and done it twice. Like, he's ready. Or
this is just something he does to fuck with people and it's working.
No. Okay. What's the worst I don't know. The worst that happens is he is like, he'll probably still be nice. If he doesn't want to go on a date with you, which I would find very surprising.
Oh,
he seems like a nice guy who would at least be like, I don't know, make some excuse and be like, oh, let me get back to you. He's not going to like reject you on the spot.
I mean, I think he's going to go on the date. I feel like
so
going way out on a limb, but like, what do you say?
You can just be like, hey, we should grab even just like a coffee because if you go to depending on when you go to the gym. Oh, you're an evening gym person, which means I can be morning. No, but that's I'm
really into the morning date idea recently, but
okay, well, you could say like, hey, I'm going to be at the gym Friday morning. Do you want to grab a coffee after? Or Saturday weekend, Saturday morning. You know, like, oh, do you want to, if you're going to stop by the gym on Saturday, I'm going to be here in the morning. Would you want to grab a coffee after? Something. We can workshop the phrasing, but it's like so chill.
Okay, get a fucking coffee. Literally, I'm so fucking weird, dude.
Gym.
Like, it's gonna be so hard for me not to be like, I see you, and we look at each other. You are hi, you know, like it's so dumb. Like I know nothing about you. What could I possibly say? How are you working out? Do you live near the gym? Like, I'm like, this is where my mind goes. I can't figure it out. No, you're right. You just say, hey, we should get a coffee.
Yeah, and then once you're on the date, it's like any other date. Like, you don't know anything about any of these people. So you're just going to have a date like you would with anyone else. You don't have to like overly converse in the gym. I feel like he's probably struggling with the same thing where he's like, there's this cute girl. I've seen her multiple times here. I want her to like know that I think she's cute and potentially interested, but he also doesn't know what to say. That's why he's just doing a cute wave here or there. So somebody has to like... Somebody has to. I know it's on me. It's on me. He's extended an olive branch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be. You're gonna make it happen. He seems very nice.
He seems very nice. I really can't explain. There are certain things I feel very bold about, and I cannot explain truly how weird. I know everyone's like, I'm weird with guys. Like, no, truly, I get so weird. During my solo trip, I had this amazing never mind, forget everything I was about to say. I was about to make the story too long. Anyway, I like was trying to force myself to just be more open in general and talk to more people and like make more eye contact. And like there was the musician in the hotel lobby,
Jason Mraz,
the one that was playing Jason Mraz. Yeah, the one who was playing Mr. Jason Mraz. He was like, I'm not interested. He wasn't cute, but I was just like trying to be more open to people in general. And so he walked by and I was like, oh, I really like, you did such a great job up there. Are you sight reading? And while he was taking requests, I don't know, we had a little chit chat. And then he went to finish playing his set. And I was like so proud of myself just for like talking to someone new that I couldn't stop manically giggling. I giggle to myself in public, alone in public all the time. And it was so bad. It was so extreme. I was just sitting at like a little hotel bar table alone, giggling to myself and journaling because I would happen to be journaling. So it looked like I was like giggling into my diary in the middle of a bar, like couldn't stop laughing. And the stupider I looked, the more I laughed until I was literally caught myself saying out loud, like, you have to stop. You look crazy. You have to stop. And then I like couldn't stop saying it either. And so I had to take myself to the bathroom and I just sat in a bathroom stall for like 15 minutes before I could calm down.
Caroline, I bet you really looked like the cutest, most like so genuine, crazy, happy person in that hotel bar.
So unhinged, so crazy.
Maybe you were writing like the most hilarious novel of our generation, as far as anybody else knew, seeing a woman laughing at her journal. Like, I don't know.
It's not an acceptable thing to do. It's not an acceptable thing to do, Jess, and I know it.
Okay. But can I also offer another perspective, which is it's not the perspective that I just gave you of like, oh, it was probably cute. Instead, what I will say
it was probably hideous. So I take it back.
If I saw you doing that, I'd think it was cute. But whatever. Not everyone is me. All I'm saying is, what if the more times you have an interaction like that, the less and less you will start to have this reaction afterwards. Do you know what I mean? The more that you put yourself out there and try these things, maybe the more comfortable you'll get with it. And then the less giggly and weird you'll feel afterwards,
freak. Yeah, that it really is why I'd set it as a goal. It was like, literally, I've been just trying to make like chronic eye contact with people, like left and right, TSA agents, like anyone, the whole time.
Anyone will talk to
I am delivering eye contact, male, female, don't care. Old, stupid, ugly, like I don't care. I'm just trying to make eye contact. And just that realization, someone I was talking to on the solo trip was talking about like, yeah, you should make more eye contact. And then once I set it as an exercise, I realized how chronically I avoid it, as I think a lot of people do. I'm not so special, but and how differently all of like my little daily interactions just over the last week started being once I just started fucking delivering eye contact to strangers.
Totally. Yeah. I'm trying to make a point when I like check out at the grocery store or buy something, like just with a cashier, to make eye contact with them, because I always realize like it's so easy to just be in your phone or just like be looking down and not give that person the time of day. And they probably all they get all day is probably the top of somebody's head.
The top of someone's head.
So I've been making a point lately to like always look up and say hi and make eye contact with them. And it makes you feel so good. It makes them feel good. Like oftentimes there's a compliment that follows because they're like, oh, this person's friendly and they looked at me and now I'm going to tell them that they have nice hair or something, so you feel good afterwards because you got that. Like it really makes a big difference. But I mean, I've been doing, it's easier said than done.
I've been doing the small talk conversation with people like I feel for like a long time. I think because I was a service worker so long, like I'm always like, I got like these massages when I was on my trip and they're like doing all this hospitality stuff and how are you? And I would just be like, how are you?
Yeah.
And it almost made
I want to check
like,
on you.
Yeah. Like I can't not do that.
Yeah.
But I think I always did it without eye contact because I felt like I just a little bit looking away or looking down and it doesn't count the same. Like it doesn't show interest the same way. And it was out of my own fear, but I literally just started like adding the eye contact to it. And it's wild the way people register.
Yeah.
That you are registering them differently. Yeah. I don't know.
100%. Yeah. I'm glad that you've had that realization. I think getting back to this guy, you can do it. You're gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in DC this week. What if I go to the gym with you and like make you? I don't know. Obviously, we don't know when he's gonna be there, but
so weird. I'm gonna be so weird. Yeah. All
you
right.
know
I'm gonna
what you
do it.
need to
I'm
do?
gonna do it.
You need to
What?
also have a backup plan, not a backup plan, but a post basically asking him out plan where
Yes, a place
like,
where I can
okay,
sit and giggle.
at least
A
I can
place
go
where I can
run.
sit and giggle. Yeah,
Yes.
you're
You
right.
need to be
A
like,
safe
okay,
place.
after this, I will be going to the locker room, or after this, I will be
Yeah.
going for a walk outside or whatever.
I'll be
You need to
smothering
have a
myself in a
plan.
pillow. Yes.
Escape
A
plan.
sanctuary.
Yes.
Excuse
So I
me.
think if you have that in the back of your mind and after this conversation, I'm then going there as opposed to just kind of standing around and being like, okay,
Yeah.
and then going to a treadmill and like giggling on the treadmill.
Wow.
Have a plan of where to go.
This idiot giggling on a treadmill, probably just fully still in view of him. So dumb. Okay, thank God you're here. Otherwise, I'd be dead. Otherwise, I'd be dead.
I
Okay.
can't wait for this progress. It's gonna, we're gonna have to check in on it, and you know that.
So stressed. Yes. I have a note on here that says, I actually don't even remember why I wrote this down, but
Okay.
it says something that made me laugh harder than I've laughed in a while. I believe that this is true. Was the idea, oh, why did I write this down? I really made myself laugh recently with the idea of gaslighting someone, just exclusively gaslighting them by telling them that they made internet memes that they didn't make. I think that would be really fun. I think that would be a really fun way to gaslight someone, where if you're like sending them a meme and you're like, oh my God, this is so funny that you made this. And they're like, no, what? No, I didn't make that. And you're like, you're just always like, remember when you made this meme? And they're like, I've never made a meme. And you're like, you made this. And you just like never let it go.
Okay. I have so many thoughts. I want to know how you came up with that. Like, where did that come from? But I also have a thought. Okay, then let me just say how you might catch me. You might catch me responding to that and like really leaning in, because I used to have this running joke that I still kind of do sometimes. I had like a brand of jokes that I called "It's Me" jokes. They were really big when I was in college. Big amongst me.
This brand of your jokes was really big.
Jokes.
I love
They were
you.
big with like 3 of my friends. And they're huge. And we would like pass by something and I'd be like, oh, I made that, or like I built that, or like somebody would be like, oh, it's so like somebody left their something here, and I'd be like, oh, it's mine, or whatever. I would just,
what a good example.
Okay. I still do this sometimes.
I'm not letting you off the hook with that.
Like one time, this is a good example. Okay, there's a lot of examples racing to my mind. One time we were getting on the metro in DC, and there were a bunch of newspapers all over the ground that like somebody had thrown there, a homeless person had put there, something. Yeah. And we walked into the metro, and I was like, oh, this is where I put my newspapers or something. And it was like really fucking weird, and my friend laughed for a really long time.
I would laugh. I laugh
or
now. Yes, I
like
laugh.
Yeah, there was a like a haunted hayride type of thing on campus, and there were all these like hay, like mounds of hay around campus, and I'd be like, I put those there. Do you like them? Or I would just like, that was the joke. It was called "It's Me" jokes. You're so pure. They're like dad jokes, basically.
You're so pure. Yeah, but it's better. I love that. I love that.
I guess what
I'm saying is
like,
stop? Why do they stop?
No, they still happen sometimes. I'll go for a walk around my neighborhood with my boyfriend and be like, oh, I built that building. And he's like, just shut the fuck up.
What I want to know is like, where does the conversation go after that? Is it just you saying this in the middle of like any conversation, and then you just immediately return? He's like, I need to pay that, no mind. Anyway, what I was saying about my job.
Yeah, like it really is. Or it'll be like in a moment of silence, just to like make somebody laugh in a moment of silence or something.
In a moment of silence.
But if you were to send me, if you were to send me a meme and be like, remember when you made this? There's a very good chance that I'd be like, oh yeah. Like I would just lean into it and turn it into an "It's Me" joke. Yeah. And then we'd both be doing our own brand of jokes, and nobody would get anywhere.
No one would be laughing. No one would be laughing. Wow, what a beautiful kind of like Grecian tragedy that would be. What's the story of the what's the story of like that Christmas story, the gift of the Magi. The gift of the Magi,
wow,
you know, and like the husband, what does he give up? He like sells his harmonica to buy his wife the world's most expensive hairbrush, and she cuts her hair to buy him like a case for his harmonica. Then they exchange gifts, and they laugh and they cry and they hold each other because both of them gave up their most prized possessions for the other, which I think is me
That's us.
gaslighting you about a meme you didn't make and you just
Gaslighting you back.
These are the joys of life. This is all I want. This is all I want. This is all I want.
If you're not doing that, I wrote this because, okay, on our Instagram.
That's how you do life. First of all, that is how you do life.
That's how you do life.
Together. That's how you do life together. You say, I am so excited to marry Shaq Valikanakis because I can't wait. I love to find memes he didn't make and tell him that he made them. And I want to do that forever.
That's exactly it, though. On our Instagram, when we asked people to describe us, somebody wrote for me like committed to the bit. And I was like, yes, because I literally don't understand how people have fun in life. I don't understand how people do life if they're not committing to bits daily. Like, are you laughing? Are you experiencing joy? Are you experiencing pain? Are you experiencing anything? It's all about committing to the bit. So yeah, that's us.
Oh, she's a bit commit.
Thank you. So are you. That's why I like to talk to you. Okay, I have several other topics and they're all equally stupid, but
excellent.
Okay. Okay, this is another question of like something I observed in the week. And I was like, why do people get excited about this? You know how sometimes restaurants open in an old firehouse and people are like psyched about it?
I didn't know. I never thought of this as like a trope, like a cliche.
It's a big trope.
It is.
It's a big trope. It's like a gentrification trope, I think. It's like classically some old firehouse in this like part of town.
Or like I feel like I've seen it in like a church a lot.
Yes,
like, I'm renovating this church and it's gonna be yeah.
And I am one of those people. Like I get excited about it. I'm like, it's in an old church.
Exciting. It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting. I was like, I would like that. Yeah.
But like, what is that about the human psyche? Where I'm like, no way, it's in an old firehouse. We have to make a reservation. Like, what is that?
Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, there actually was a really like kind of famous one of those restaurants in Cincinnati. I'm just remembering that was built in a firehouse and everyone was obsessed with it. It was kind of fun. What a good question. I don't know. I could deliver something off the cuff, but I have to think about it. That's a good question. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm just posing questions left and right today. I have no answers and I have no deeper thoughts than that. But a recent, like a new restaurant opened in Chicago that I saw on Eater Chicago or something.
Yeah.
That's in an old firehouse. And at first, my initial reaction to this question in my head was like, we shouldn't be excited about that because shouldn't we want firehouses to like be open so that we're safe? But obviously
no more firehouses in Chicago.
No, all restaurants.
People go wild.
But obviously I have to assume that the firehouse just moved. And so then I got back to being excited about the restaurant. And
sure,
I don't really know. I was like, is it because it has high ceilings?
That's a great point. Is it the high ceilings?
Is it the poles?
I feel like it maybe is not specifically that, but just like I guess it's something about like seeing somewhat historical architecture used for a new purpose. It's like a little haunting and kind of fun. And also, I guess we don't go into firehouses a lot otherwise, but we go into churches. People can be in churches if they want,
but being in churches without a spiritual or religious element to it is actually something I enjoy. Like there's this thing in Chicago that happens every year called, I don't remember what it's called, but basically they open up a lot of the buildings for just like free tourism and you can walk through and look at the architecture, and it's buildings that otherwise you would need like a reason to go into them. And so a lot of churches are part of it. And I like going and looking at the churches because a lot of them are beautiful, but I don't want to have to go like for mass. So maybe there is something to that. I think there's something
that sounds like a cool event in Chicago. Homes. But I think there is something different about like repurposing it. Like just puts a new layer of meaning on it, or I don't know. I feel like it is kind of why, to me at least, I guess, I'll just speak for myself, but to me it's kind of titillating in the same way that it's titillating to walk around like ancient ruins, because you're in some way you can just like, it makes you think about like the lives that were there much more clearly than walking around a place that has like active lives in it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I
Yeah.
feel. And there's like some piece of that like haunting almost too, that I feel like walking through like a repurposed firehouse or church or something. You're like, I don't know, you feel a sense of like the things that did go on here. I don't
Yeah.
know, I can't
No,
quite
you're
articulate
probably
it.
right. You're probably right. And I feel like all the people who love old homes are going to be like, 2 weeks ago, you said you don't understand why people get excited about old homes, but that's not actually what I said. It's like, I actually
Also,
think old architecture.
I said that it's fun. I like that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I actually like that stuff. It's more the bit then was like, it doesn't mean you have character, but that doesn't mean that stuff isn't cool. And I feel like it's a similar thing. Like I can understand
Yeah.
why people get excited to repurpose an older
It's
home or older
interesting. Why do we
architecture or
like
something.
it?
Yeah, why do we like it?
Why do
It's
we like
just
it? Why do we like these
yes.
bangs? Cannot. The bangs are so distracting to me. I'm so sorry. I'm fixing my hair this whole time because I cannot tolerate.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I am too. I am too.
Ugh, look at this. Like, look at that.
Ah,
Just look at this. That's not
here,
legal.
if I were to part my hair where my stylist left, how she left me when I left the salon, I
No.
look like a fucking
You look like an idiot. You look like an idiot.
and
And I look
I
like
don't
an
know
idiot.
why I thought putting on these glasses would help. It makes me look
Uh,
more crazy.
yeah. Oh, this is kind of cool. Okay.
Okay, last thought, last question from my
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new I'm so dumb. I have so many stupid topics. I missed you.
Listen, please, let's drop the IQ. I literally love it so much. I love it so much.
It's what people want. I can't do it without you. Like people wanted me to make the Jess thoughts really light, and I was like, I don't know how to do it alone. I really don't. This is actually also, I don't know, it's not that stupid. It's kind of interesting. Instagram
I'll say if it's
recently.
stupid. You just say it. I'll
Okay.
say if it's stupid.
Okay. Instagram recently made it so that you can pay to have the blue check mark next to your handle.
I know.
What the fuck? What's that about? What is my purpose anymore? Like, why am I? We can cancel this show. What am I doing?
Oh, you're disincentivized to get the blue check now that anyone
A
can
little
have
bit.
it.
Not that that's actually my purpose, but I'm just,
Yeah.
to be facetious about it. Like, it is a little bit foolish. Then how am I going to know if this is an Usher fan account or the real Usher account?
Oh, no, I think you have to provide like a government ID to identify. I think it still does like actually verify you. It's not just you paying to get a check. You have to like submit
Okay.
like ID. And I had applied to it maybe like a month or two ago because someone did actually make like a fake Caroline Winkler Instagram accounts.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And I kept getting rejected. Like it's me though.
Wait.
And now I'm wondering if they rejected me because um they were just about to roll out this feature where you just pay for it.
I
But
see.
at least when I applied then, you had to like I had to link like articles written about me. I had to link like my YouTube. I had to and then like government IDs and stuff. So
Right.
I
Yeah. So
assume it
now they're
yeah.
removing the part where you have to like prove, like anybody can do it, even if they don't have a following, even if they don't have like articles written about them. But I'm
Even but
sure
they
you
you
still
still have
have
to
to
prove who
prove.
you are. I think you still have to
Yes.
prove who you are, but also like it would be pretty weird. I felt weird about getting a check even with like my small following on Instagram, but and now I then once they rolled out the feature, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to get it now.
I don't
I kind
want
of feel the same. I was like, I
It's
don't want it
cringy.
now.
Maybe they can make like a darker shade of the blue. So, like this is a
For the
person that
elite.
Instagram
For the
awarded a
elite.
check, and these are the people that paid for it because it's a
So
little bit
funny.
cringe. I've noticed a couple people on my page getting it, and I'm
I
like,
mean, I don't think I've specifically seen anyone just random getting it, but I know people are, and that is wild.
it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. I do understand from a like identity perspective, like it's kind of similar how on certain dating apps, I feel like they'll give you a check mark so that you verify like this is actually the
That you're
person so people
real.
can't
But that's
catfish
not
each
why
other.
people are doing it. That's not why people are doing
No,
it.
exactly. But on Instagram, like you're not worried about person with 500 followers who paid for this, you're not worried about your account being replicated. You just
That's so
think it's cool,
funny.
you know?
I haven't even seen anyone do it, but why are they doing it?
Because that's the thing. It's like, it's a status thing in a
But
way,
it
but
no
it's
longer
no
is.
longer a
But it
status
no
thing.
longer is, which
Yeah.
is like the grossest. I don't want to sound like gatekeepery with that. I guess I can't be gatekeepery because I never had one. So
Yeah. No, you're fine.
yeah, I guess it felt like a status thing. So
Yeah.
funny.
It's like a moment. I don't know. It's a moment. I follow certain comedians who are a little bit smaller, but like as they're gaining fame and notoriety and success and stuff. And I feel like it's a moment that a lot of them kind of celebrate of like, oh my gosh, I like had
Right.
enough,
Yeah,
you
it's a
know, of a
milestone.
following. It's a milestone the same way that like 100,000 YouTube subscribers is a milestone. Yeah, so it's not really a milestone anymore. So it's just gonna be a mental shift in how I think about Instagram, and I do think about it way too much.
And I do think about it too much. We got to find a new way to be elite. I was mostly pissed that they kept rejecting me for saying I was me. Like I definitely had enough
It
followers
probably
to
is.
have a check. I think
It
it was because
probably
they
is
were rolling out
because
thing. That's what I'm
yeah.
gonna tell myself because I was pretty upset.
I would be upset. See, this does kind of weirdly, or it did kind of weirdly matter. Maybe if we just put, I've thought about doing this for a long time just as like a joking thing, just putting official at the end of my Instagram handle. So
Yeah,
it's
I've
like,
seen that.
I wouldn't do
Yeah.
Jay-Z DeBakey anymore. I'd do like Jess official.
Just official or the
Yeah.
real
Official
Jess.
Jess.
Official Jess.
Yeah.
It's cute.
I
don't think I'm ever
actually
gonna
want to, but
I don't want to ever change the good setter. Never change it.
I love that you've kept it. It's like so throwback to
The throwback.
the old days. Oh, that's another story. Do we have to go? Maybe we have to go soon.
Wait, Jess, I'll check with the boss. What? What are we the boss? Okay, what do
Are
you
you
have
the
to
boss?
say?
I think you're the boss. You're my boss.
Am I the boss?
Yeah.
First of all, cut all of that. I did not like that bit of us saying check with the boss.
Oh, really?
Or leave it.
We can decide.
I think I'm just high. I feel high right now because I haven't spoken to you really in like
I
a
know.
week.
I'm like, oh, I
Like,
thought of another
losing
thing.
it.
Okay,
what?
but I feel like I've been talking so much. I've been bringing up.
What do you
all the
want me to
topics.
say? What do you want me to say? Listen, I'm looking at my notes and I don't have anything good here. I have one note that literally listen, this is what my notes say.
Okay.
Bullet point number 1, I've really been working on my smells. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that. I don't know why I wrote that down.
Why wouldn't you say that earlier?
I don't know. Note number 2 I have. These are my notes. These are my professional work notes. It just says Crabtree and Evelyn. I don't know.
Stop. Wait, that's hilarious.
And then it says always in my head about Crabtree and Evelyn. Actually, no, you know what that is? Did you like when doing improv and stuff, whenever someone would be like, somebody give a prompt or something and you just have to say like a random word, the only phrase, did you ever have a phrase that was like the only phrase you could ever think of? The only thing I could ever think of was Crabtree and Evelyn.
Oh, that's the best. I mean, did you actually throw it out there? Have you ever seen
Totally
people...
okay. Too many times. And I was like,
you've seen too many bits about Crabtree and Evelyn. No, I don't really have a go-to ready phrase for that, although I wish I did. That's a perfect one. Vera Bradley. I feel like that's a similar era, similar vibe.
That's funny. Yeah, or like just any word, but like when someone's like, you're doing like an improv warm-up exercise and they're like 3, 2, 1, say a word. I was like, I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be Crabtree and Evelyn.
Oh my god, I feel like my word that I always think of is literally like chicken.
So pure. That's
no,
awesome.
but it's not pure.
The only way that could be
pure.
That is pure. The only way it could be better is if your word was like word.
No.
Word something.
The reason but if you know the backstory on chicken, I feel like the reason I think of chicken is because of that part in Anchorman where Champ Kind is like he's like asking this woman on a date and he's like, we can go back to my place, have some chicken, maybe some sex. And so I like always think of chicken in the tone that he says it in, like chicken.
Yeah. Oh, you say that well. You do that well, good.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll tell you this last thing and then we can wrap up. The last thing, I thought of it because you, the good sitter, were an au pair. And I grew up with a lot of au pairs because my parents both worked, and instead of
I didn't know you had au pairs.
I had au pairs for
I had no idea.
until we were probably like 10-ish, maybe
Okay,
I was
cool.
10, Caitlin was whatever. We had au pairs, and a couple were from Germany. One was from Ireland. Anyway,
Great
so I
countries.
think the
Great
last
countries.
au pair, the last au pair that we had was Venezuelan, and her name was Stella, and she was my favorite person. And she made me feel like she was my older sister. Like I felt really,
Yeah,
I loved her.
really special.
So when I was in the second grade, she like lived with our family and babysat me and Caitlin. And she started to date someone in America, this guy who was a lawyer. They're now married and have kids, and like it's a whole, beautiful success story.
They're doing life. Yeah.
And they're doing life. And so in second grade, that's when we did our first communion at Stone Ridge at our school. And for my
The
first
age of
communion,
reason.
yeah, right. When everybody decides to commit
Yes.
to religion. And so for my first communion gift, Stella's boyfriend at the time, this lawyer, got me a binder that said Jessica Book Company on it. And it was the paperwork to, if I wanted to like sign and submit to the state or something and like have a company called the Jessica Book Company. Because when I was a kid, I loved to like write children's books
What?
and draw like really my books were just ripping off the Bernstein Bears. I just traced the Bernstein Bears photos and then like or images from
book.
those books and then like wrote my own story with it that was like vaguely based on but different from the Bernstein Bears. Anyway, I really loved writing these books and I thought that that's what I wanted to do when I grow up, and he got me this binder that was like the paperwork for the Jessica Book Company. Anyway, it was a story that I just remembered recently, or I kind of think about every once in a while, and it made me very it just made me feel grateful and like I don't know, something tickled my little soul when I thought about it, because ever since then I've wanted to in some form do like content creation, and now we're doing it. This is I don't read, so I don't write, but I'm here doing something that's like telling stories.
You're telling a story. You're telling a story.
And I just thought of that and I thought it was cheesy and sweet and I wanted to share it with you.
Wait. When you talk about paperwork for the Jessica Book Company, is this like you have an LLC somewhere, or like what's the paperwork? What is it?
I think it was the paperwork to form an LLC, but I never actually like did anything with it.
Oh, okay.
So no, I don't have that, but and I don't know, at this point in time, I'm sure that maybe that name is gone. Not that it was a brilliant name, but like it was more the gesture of him.
I wonder, maybe it does exist though, because who would title their LLC that? Like, if you had told me the story before we made our podcast LLC, I would 100%. That would be what it's called.
That would be our name. Oh, that's cute. No, I don't think it exists. I never did anything with the paperwork. It was more the gesture of him being like, you want to do this and you could do it, and like, being proud of me. It was
so meaningful.
Sweet.
Yeah, instead of being like the easy response to be like, haha, right, you want to write a book, that's pretty cute.
Like
of
kids.
just like taking you really seriously and talking to you like you're a thinking sentient being, which you were. Yeah. Aww.
Yeah, that's all. I think I still have that binder in my parents' house somewhere. I kind of want to get it when I'm home and bring it back here.
Is it full of Bernstein Bear drawings?
No, it's like literally the binder of paperwork, so it's not actually anything interesting in there, but the binder itself had like an inscription on it, and there was also like this stamp. He made me a stamp that was like an emblem of the company or something. It was like made me feel very official. Really, it was very sweet. Yeah, good guy.
I feel like they're gonna do something with that name one day.
I would love to. Maybe we should cut this so nobody takes it from me. It's because it's brilliant. Yeah, maybe.
That's very sweet. I love that. My heart is warm.
Thanks. That was the last thing on my radar that I wanted to share with you today. Anything? I feel like everything we talked about is a win, and we keep in that.
I feel like everything was really important. Everything was pretty important.
Totally. We had conversation about solo travel and stuff. That was something smart.
Yeah, I think this is my approach. I'm like, put some kind of put something coherent together up top, and then do whatever you want the rest of the time.
Yeah. That's what I need in life. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining us. You've been here, what, What am I saying?
I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while since you did an outro. All right, let's take that one more time. Jess,
Okay.
hey, look at me. Look at me. Look me in the eye. You got this. You got this.
I really needed to hear you say that one more time. Okay. Thanks for being here. This has been Not For Everyone. You can find us on Instagram at Not For Everyone Pod. That's the number 4 in there. You can find Caroline at The Good Sitter on Instagram. I'm at JZDebakey on Instagram. And we're now on YouTube. Same handle as our podcast Instagram handle. Go follow us. Leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts. Do all the things. Share it with a friend. We love hearing from you. And I guess by the time this is up, maybe it'll be too late. I think we're trying to do a what to do episode next week. So send us your what to do's.
Yeah.
But I will probably post about that on Instagram instead of putting it in this outro. Okay. Do I have to say anything else? Are we wrapping?
I don't think so. If you haven't checked out the YouTube videos, they have ended up being like, basically they've got like deleted scenes, deleted convos in them, quite a bit actually. Just because we didn't feel like editing it out. So if you want,
so there you go, world.
If you want to catch the conversations that are a little more boring and
that's really what it is.
And longer, then check out the YouTube videos. But there's also the good stuff in there.
Yeah, don't be fooled. It's not like titillating.
We didn't cut like all the great stuff.
The good stuff. Yeah.
We cut it on purpose. Yeah. I think.
But it's there if you want it. I mean, I love putting on a YouTube video and just like feeling like I have company. And so if we can provide that for you, then I love to hear it.
Yeah. Love to hear it. Live, laugh, love. Do life.
Do life. Bye.